This man's first robbery was also his last.
Turn left on foot.
In South Carolina, cops cop an attitude. In Moscow, it's Russians crushing crime. Even clerks get in the swing of things. And another criminal bites the dust. Moscow, Russia, where the threat of hard time in some of the world's harshest prisons can't stem the exploding crime rate. But Russian police have a new weapon, a fleet of American muscle cars with powerful pursuit engines. Training on the job, the Russians add video cameras to complete their mobile anti-crime arsenal. Once in traffic, they spot a small European car. For no apparent reason, the driver suddenly speeds away. It's all the excuse Moscow cops need. In Russia, the police don't have to show probable cause. They can pull a car over for no reason at all. The suspect zips through traffic easily. The nimble little car is more maneuverable than the American cruisers. But the officers stay right on his tail. These cars are built for pursuit. And what they may lack in agility, they make up for in sheer power. The suspect continues his attempts to elude them, desperately trying to gain distance, even as more cops join the chase. Suddenly, the suspect blunders. He drives straight into the heart of city traffic. Surrounded by the powerful American vehicles, the suspect has no choice but to take to the curb. Still, this guy won't give up. He makes a run for it, but he doesn't get far. Inside the car, police find a cache of illegal weapons. The driver has good reason to panic. The Russian Constitution has no Second Amendment. Only the police and the military have the right to bear arms. Caught on the wrong side of Russian law, less than 2% of suspects make bail. The wait for a trial can last up to 4 years. Once convicted, they can expect to stay in prison a very long time.
Some criminals will target convenience stores because they figure it's easy money, that the clerk won't care, that he won't have any heart. But just because a guy makes minimum wage doesn't mean he won't have maximum courage.
Toronto, Canada. On a slow night, this Canadian clerk is restocking his shelves. Maybe it's because he's been robbed before. Or maybe it's that these men are already carrying full grocery bags. Either way, the clerk is wary of them. What are they really shopping for? The clerk gets his answer when the men try to grab him. He squirms away. Both robbers rush behind the counter. They're so busy beating up the clerk, they barely notice a customer walking in. The men try to knock out the clerk under the counter, but this just makes the customer more curious. Shocked, the witness tries to walk out, hailing a passing car as he is chased out the door. The tall robber takes the money and tries to leave too, but the clerk won't let him go. Battling a man twice his size, the clerk scoops a vodka bottle off the floor. Now armed, the clerk goes on the attack, swinging the booze bottle like a 100-proof billy club. Little David has his Goliath cowering by the time a police detective arrives on the scene.
Get on the ground.
But how did that cop get there that fast? He was driving the car the customer flagged down. The cop has already arrested the other robber outside, and now he's ready to cuff this one too. Adding insult to injury, the clerk makes sure he gets his payback in person. These bad luck bandits wanted a quick score, but thanks to a surprise guest, a feisty clerk, and a cop in the right place at the right time, they got a big headache and 23 months behind bars. It takes all kinds of fools to make a world. Cops deal with every single kind, every single day. There are some days when you smile, some days you run, or some days you wake up screaming. Chester, South Carolina. Local police pick up the pursuit of this stolen sedan.
Be advised, we're coming into the city now.
These teenage lovers have already been running for 60 miles. These rebels without a clue have knocked over guardrails and hit a church bus during this joyride gone bad. Now they're terrorizing Chester, racing through residential areas.
Turn left on foot.
Getting airborne over railroad tracks.
He's 1050 there, bottom of Wiley, white car.
And forcing the cops onto the sidewalk to avoid a collision.
You want to stop us over?
The officers are determined to end it now.
Right here, Scott.
The lead unit races ahead and takes a heavy shot from the reckless teens. Then the second car sandwiches the suspects. Unbelievably, these young thieves keep going. The teens think they've taken the best that the cops can dish out. Not even close. Like a linebacker hitting a running back, the officer powers the car off the road. Within seconds, officers have the 17-year-old driver and his 16-year-old girlfriend in custody. They're sorry now, but they should have thought about that before they stole the car. Cedar Hill, Texas. Officer Aaron Barnes finds what appears to be an abandoned car on a lonely access road.
When I first approached the car, I had my flashlight and I looked inside the car. I was expecting to find somebody in the car. And I checked the area. I didn't see anybody standing around the fence or anything. And so at that time, I got back in the car, advised dispatch what I had, that they've already exited the vehicle.
Any strange situation can mean trouble, and Barnes calls for backup.
I immediately asked for other units to come to the location because I thought that somebody was there parking in the dark, possibly wanting to break into a car company that's just north of there.
Returning to the suspicious vehicle, he finds someone seems to have appeared from thin air.
I've got somebody in the vehicle now, stand by. At that time, I turned my headlights on, and then that's when the subject was back in the car, but he exited the car at that time when I showed up.
What are you doing over there? Oh, why don't you put your hands on top of the hood for me? Just put your hands on top of the car for me. What is that? I want to pat you down, make sure you ain't got any weapons or anything.
But Patrick Dion Howard did have a weapon. What Officer Barnes doesn't know is that moments before, this suspect murdered a man while robbing him at gunpoint.
I didn't know that he had just killed somebody because I wouldn't walk right up to him if he had just killed somebody. It's been a whole different scenario.
Oh, I want you to put your hands right there, okay? Put your hands up here. Put your hands up here. Put your hands up here. Get out.
Fortunately for Officer Barnes, backup arrives moments after the attack begins. The other officers chase the assailant into the night.
He fired the gun at that time, and it was so close, the muzzle blast got me, I thought I'd been shot.
The suspect takes a weapon from the car and fires. The bullet misses the officer by a fraction of an inch.
I said, I can't take a headshot, I can't take it, I'll take it in the chest. I'll take it in the chest because I got a pistol.
Police found the suspect within hours. Patrick Dion Howard was convicted of both murder and attempted murder of a police officer. He was sentenced to spend the rest of his life in prison.
So still this day, I've not let my kids see the video. Because, they're young. I've got, at the time they was 3 and 6, and their interpretation of my job, is, Daddy, did you go out and catch a bad guy today? I knew this was on camera, and I didn't want my kids later on. My kids later on to see this.
Officer Barnes kept his wits in a terrifying situation. The result was one killer down and one cop back on the beat. DUI checkpoints are great weapons against drunk driving. But what happens when a suspect sees one coming and doesn't want to stop? Greensboro, North Carolina. An officer keeps watch on a distant DUI checkpoint. When a car stops before reaching it, the cop gets suspicious. The officer sees a man stagger out. He can tell this driver's not safe standing on his own 2 feet. He has to stop him before the man takes off.
Get out of the car, now!
He whips a crazy U-turn, driving right over the median. Immediately, the cop gives chase.
We're in pursuit. False DUI. Stand by.
The suspect weaves recklessly through cars, flying by them at 80 miles an hour.
Southbound on 17, about a mile away from Dutch Mills. Right behind him, he's all over the road.
The drunk careens through a construction area, but he can't shake pursuing officers. The rough driving takes its toll. Smoke starts pouring from his car. Finally, the cop sees a chance to shut him down. Having no choice, the man stops. This chase is over. Pulling him out, the cops are furious.
What's wrong with you, man? Are you stupid? You got a felony. You got a felony. All you're going to get was misdemeanors, you dumbass.
From a misdemeanor to a felony, this guy should have stayed pulled over when he had a chance. Here we are in Burlington, North Carolina. Another driver has just sped away from a different DUI checkpoint. Spike strips have been set up, destroying his tires. Now sparks shower the road.
Still rolling. Start slowing down.
Barreling down on his rims, he pushes ahead.
Shut him down right there. Shut him down right there.
He cuts through the median. He now heads the wrong way in opposite lanes of traffic. After passing the overhead bridge, the police converge on the felon. Finally, with his car completely disabled, he stops. He makes a feeble attempt at escaping. But like the other drunk driver, he's not going anywhere. These checkpoint Charlies took big gambles and lost. Now they're going to have to face their losses in jail. Sometimes a police officer's job appears funny, foolish, and bizarre. That's the nature of police work. Sometimes it's tragic, sad, and brave.
I thought I'd been shot.
But the men and women who become police officers can count on one thing for sure. It is the most interesting job in the world.